Hey guys, Desolator Magic here. It's time to finish off Chapter 8 of the Dominaria storyline. In the first part, Chandra planeswalked over to, I don't remember, some weird plane I've never heard of, and kind of snuck into Carol Keep, or the monastery there, I should say. And then she stole the Pyromancer's goggles, aka Jaya Bellard's former goggles. It was some thin illogical plot point about how she's going to use them to something about Jaya and make her trust her even though she stole them. I don't know. Maybe she's just gonna like walk up to her wearing them and be like, I'm your long lost twin sister Chandra. I got stuck in the orbit of a black hole and aged at a different rate as you. I'm wearing your goggles. Now see, that would be a sci-fi story, okay? By the way, for the record, I don't actually have a twin brother. That was a ridiculous conspiracy theory / rumor started exclusively by me. It is completely manufactured and not true. Just ask my twin brother. He'll verify it. So, Chandra planeswalked away from the evil aunt lady that caught her at the monastery. Shout out to my ADV China homies. And she's still kind of detecting the fading traces of what she hoped was Jaya's Aether Trail, which... First of all, it is pronounced ether, just to be perfectly clear, but calling it aether because they, like, for technical reasons, we'll just say laziness and incompetence when it comes to digital renderings, and database search capabilities, they changed it to AE instead of the actual combined AE, like Greek letter or whatever, so now I'm just going to pronounce it incorrectly on purpose because they're spelling it incorrectly on purpose. That's the joke. Anyway, I've been told that an aether stream is what... a planeswalker leaves behind when they planeswalk. I thought only Kaladesh had Aether and it had nothing to do with mana. In fact, it was an alternative to mana. In fact, in the game, it was an alternative to mana. But anyway, somehow she can detect it. Maybe because they both use red mana. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. It's magic. I ain't gonna explain shit. So she's walking through some kind of like weird city thing with like a castle wall kind of or something like that. So she's like creeping through the alleys and the shadows and stuff. Just like she was in Carol Keep. Not really sure why she wants to play ninja all of a sudden. But finally she stepped out into a sunny plaza where people dressed in rough leather and muted colors hurried past. Damn, somebody get me the shop where they shop. I love rough leather and muted colors. They finally revealed that she's in Argivia, the capital city of New Argive. That's lazy. Oh, where are you from? Oklahoma City. Oh, where's that? What state is that in? So she noticed instead of just, oh, look, people shopping and going to the, I don't know, post office or whatever the hell people are doing. They're like rushing and they're like hauling a lot of stuff and like lots of jars and barrels and food and stuff. And she's thinking, okay, what's going on here? Well, if they generally look like, you know, clueless, just hipster dumbasses, it's probably a new Apple product launch. And then because story, Chandra accidentally bumps into a woman carrying a basket and a bunch of apples spill all over. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, oh, it's cool. Don't worry about it. And then she says, if it's the worst thing that happens today, we'll both be lucky. And so she's like, yeah, maybe I should ask her what's going on. And she noticed like all the people are like, they're not like panic running. It's like orderly, like they've practiced this before. And so the woman's like, oh, you haven't heard? And she's like, no, I was traveling. I just got here. Clever way to put it. I mean, if she said I was just walking, that would be a little bit too on the head, though. And of course she answers, it's the kobolds! Everybody knows it's always the kobolds. I mean, this is basically Neverwinter at this point. It's the kobolds of the Care Ridges again, and their horrible dragon god of theirs, Mark Rosewater. Just kidding, it's Prosh. Mark Rosewater would do way more damage because remember, he's a white male. And remember, you can always discriminate against white males even if they're Jewish. Sincerely, the head of the judge program. That's my paraphrase anyway. But anyway, Prosh and their horrible kobolds, or reverse that, are going to attack the city, but Steward Baird, oh hey Baird, I know him, good card, got a troop of soldiers and a powerful pyromancer to settle them. Oh, I wonder who the pyromancer is. I hope it's Tybalt. You know, the exact phrase is Steward Baird's got a troop of soldiers and a powerful pyromancer to settle them. He's gonna cast Settle the Wreckage and exile them all, isn't he? And then Chandra's like, well, gee, a powerful pyromancer, do you know who it is? And the lady's like, no, I never heard a name. How convenient. We all know who it is. Come on. So anyway, the whole city's going on lockdown because, you know, dragon and kobold fight, so why not? I hope the city has a roof or a dome or a hekma. And if you're like, what the hekma? First of all, I made that joke the first time. And secondly, that's what they called the shield around the city in Amonkhet. So she gets to the city gate and there's still people coming in, but there's a lot more people going out, like travelers and traders. And they're just like, bye, y'all. Good luck. Ain't getting stuck in a kobold and dragon siege. No thanks. But the smart people who are, well, basically me at this point, set up a shop there at the gates. And they were selling, like survival supplies, food, emergency stuff. Dude, that's smart though. That's smart. Like I do that in real life and I do that in games. I ain't like gonna go rip people off in like Hurricane Katrina or something. But I'm just saying, I spot shortages. I know what people need at certain events. It's usually like, like popsicles though. But I did bring a whole bunch of gold-plated Trump coins to the gun show. I mean, it's like know your audience, But it does say that Chandra was able to buy travel supplies and a map before starting out. Really, Chandra, are you going to support that behavior? Just kidding. It's actually helping people. It depends what side you're on. Okay, vote down in the comment section. Is opening up a traveling supplies / anti-kobold assault equipment stall in the marketplace or at the city gates, is that helping people out because they need it right then? Or is it being a dick because they're taking advantage of the situation? I'm going to say the price is the deciding factor, so I'm kind of on the fence. So Chandra's like, okay, I'm going to head south because everybody else is heading north, and south is where the, ridges are. And hey, looks like, a bunch of people on horseback made a trail, so she's on the right track, following them. So if she meets up with them and it is Jaya, she could, basically help with the battle, and then that'll make a wonderful introduction. Although this is Chandra we're talking about, so she'll probably just run up wearing Jaya's goggles and be like, got your goggles, bitch, and then just like shoot a fireball and accidentally blow the mountain up. But no, Chandra is assuring you that this will work. In fact, Inner Thoughts of Chandra Inu is, it's stated in italics, that's how you know. It says, this is a great plan, and it's getting better all the time, ! That sounds like song lyrics. Okay, I was picturing this a little differently. It says, a few days later. What? How far away are these ridges? Well, she finally got out of like the farm community because it's basically like a castle. I got the impression of it said it had crenellations. And so she got outside of, the farms that are always surrounding a castle. Now she's like climbing up into the hills. And the hills have got to be pretty damn close to the ridges. I mean, she'd be able to see the damn, dragon god by there. So it says at least the weather had been good enough that she hadn't needed her tent, but she was worried about what would happen if she ran out of food. Remember, guys, proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. Always be prepared and bring enough food for wherever you're going. And remember, 2 is 1 and 1 is none because things get lost and damaged. That's all the prepper statements I can think of for now, but I'll add them in later if I remember any more. Hey guys, guess what? She still saw signs of the Argivian troops' passage and had stumbled across a couple of their old campsites, but they were obviously moving much faster than she was. Remember, the story said she saw hoof prints. She's just now putting 2 and 2 together that they're moving faster than she is. Maybe she should have bought a horse, although maybe she doesn't have money. Right there with you, sister. So she was starting to wonder, though, if she already missed the entire battle, which, it seems kind of likely, honestly. But she does shortly see signs of a recent battle, and then she kind of comes across what I guess is like some kind of trap or something in the road because they like push over a tree to block the way, which she's not even in like a horse or a cart. Horse could probably jump over it, honestly, but she's like, here we go. But apparently it's not really like a trap suddenly sprung for her. She just came across them laying the trap. So it's about a dozen kobold workers, just kind of building like a barricade across the road. So the leader says, we will kill the Argivians for the glory of Prosh. And then the others responded, Prosh loves us. Oh, kobolds. I love you guys. By the way, the ones from DDO were freaking awesome. So the dead bodies that she came across were scouts because they're wearing like light armor or whatever. And she said, well, the kobolds must have like surprised them because honestly, kobolds aren't that great in combat. But with the scouts not returning, that in itself is a message. And so she must have somehow passed the force without noticing an entire army. She passed an entire army and they're now behind her, but she caught up with the dead scouts. Just roll that one around in your mind for a bit. And then because that's not illogical enough, she says, well, if it weren't for the kobolds, she might be meeting Jaya right now. So are they ahead of you or are they behind you? Maybe they're coming up from different angles, but then why is it the kobolds' fault with their barricade? That it's almost like them getting stuck at the barricade and having to fight kobolds would help her catch up with them. But then they're behind her. Why would they build a barricade if she's ahead of them? Martha Wells, everybody. Doesn't have to make sense chronologically or logically, just has to move the story along. Don't think too hard about it. And honestly, with what Wizards was probably paying her, this is a damn good story considering. So, oh no, the kobolds building a barricade are the only thing keeping her from meeting Jaya for some reason, I guess, apparently, because story. Bitch, blow them up. You ain't never seen my Far Cry footage? I usually just burn everything in sight anyway, and I'm not even a damn pyromancer. I'm just a guy with some Molotovs. Hell, I'm probably blowing shit up in the background of this video right now. Boy, I wish I could do something about all these lightly armored kobolds that don't know magic and are assembling flammable wood into a pile in the middle of the road. Oh my god, I will slap you, Chandra. So the kobolds yelled that they spotted some Argivian forces and that they were like right on the way. I guess that's why they were setting up an ambush or something. But then two of them were creeping up behind her, so she turns around and finds them, and now she's finally forced to fight because she can't apparently get enough of a clue to do it on her own. I love how they're like, yeah, representation and strong characters. And then they got this female character, Chandra, who's like a complete bimbo just walking around with her head up her ass. She's like super socially awkward and moody and constantly makes the wrong decisions and complains about everything. Wow, what a great, strong character to emulate for all the girls out there. And since she's the most like cliche girly girl character, they made her a lesbian too, because that makes sense. So she just straight up blasted one in the chest with a fireball and he goes tumbling like all the way down the hill. She hits the other one in his axe because he jumped at the wrong time. Oh my god, literally every day in Pokemon Go. I feel ya. But she did hit his axe and turn the handle to ash, which is pretty awesome. Like, how hot would the fire have to be to turn a wooden, sturdy, probably fire-hardened, or like kiln-dried axe handle into ash? Like, that would be, we're talking almost fusion levels of heat to do it that quickly. So she incinerates a bunch of crossbow bolts flying at her, which I take issue with from a chemical standpoint, but we'll get past it. And then she just blows the living crap out of the 3 logs that they put in the middle of the road there. She had to be careful though when she was torching all the kobolds because she kept thinking, yeah, I'm probably going to light the whole forest on fire. That might be more of a threat than a help to the Argivian soldiers, and that wouldn't exactly impress Jaya. Jaya, of course, is probably actively setting the entire hill on fire to drive out the kobolds because that's what Jaya does. Just kidding. I know nothing about her, but seems like something she would do. Like, literally just based on the one card that I know she's on. And then suddenly, just at the time when she makes like a little clearing through the logs, a whole bunch of soldiers on horseback go charging through. Actually, it doesn't say horseback. It says charging. Whatever. Through the shattered barricade behind her. So the kobolds are like, well, we might as well still attack them since that was the plan, but she already killed like half of them, so that went well. So with all the people rushing by, oh, they are on horseback, it says. She didn't spot Jaya, but she thought, I don't know, maybe she'll be in the back or something. So some lady is like, oh, hey, Steward Baird would like to thank you for your assistance or whatever. And so she's like, oh, cool. And she's like, I'm probably going to meet Jaya. But when the soldier led her to where the steward stood, she wasn't there. So she's just like, oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. By the way, where's Jaya? So Baird's like, oh, yeah, Jaya. She left with our forces in the ridges. And Chandra's just like, son of a bitch. Just kidding. She's like, oh, they left? So apparently Baird told her that Jaya had come looking for a friend of hers. I do kind of wonder who that is. I'm thinking it's probably Joyra. I think they actually revealed that earlier. But then when she heard that, there was a dragon and they were going out to fight it, she's like, hey, I'll come along. Sounds like fun. Everybody loves a good dragon roast. She actually had just gotten a whole bunch of really good barbecue sauce from her cousin, and there was actually a Packer game at 3, so they're just going to turn it into a barbecue, a little tailgate party. So he tells her that she basically headed to the Yavimaya coast, which is a land. That's all I know about it. So conveniently, because this entire story is an RPG, but I actually completely appreciate the elements of that, Baird is like, oh, cool, well, if you want to go meet up with her, hey, please accept some food and supplies from us. Doesn't this whole thing seem like it was like an RPG tutorial? It was like the first quest that you do, and it's like super guided, and it's set up so that you can beat it specifically with your starting powers. And the enemies were like a small amount of kobolds, and 5 seconds into the battle, an entire battalion of soldiers rolls up, and then they're like, oh, this thing that you're specifically out of. Here, have more of it. Quest reward, 100 XP. I bet you Chandra leveled up. Hopefully she respects as a necromancer. There's some joke about respect women in there somewhere, but I don't know where it is. So she traveled for 5 days and, had enough food, but she had to be careful, though, because apparently she travels really slowly. And also, it's only how much you can carry, basically. So she ends up in this, like, super jungle place kind of by the shore, or the coast or whatever, that's where she is. And when she's like, okay, seriously, like there's no path, no road, no houses, no cabins, no mark of civilization in any way, shape, or form, she says out loud, how am I going to find? And then boom, all the trees suddenly shake and she hears a whole bunch of banging and clanging and probably sword fighting and something roaring. And she's like, nah, it sounds like big old dragon battle or something. So she makes her way even deeper into the Avamaya coast where the jungle gets even thicker, and then she comes across something a bit odd. It's basically just like a freshly dug hole in the ground, or crater as she puts it. I don't think that's the definition of the word crater if you dig it yourself. But yeah, there's piles of dirt on the outside, and the people who had done the digging were still there. Well, actually, people might not be the right term. It turned out they were 20-foot tall, like, I don't know, tree elementals or something, you know, whatever, like tree people, but not really Ents and not really elementals. I could see how she would confuse 20-foot tall living plants with people. Or, wait a minute, this is deeply confusing. No, apparently, some kind of automaton, like basically robot golem thing. Those were the ones digging the hole, but then she saw a whole bunch of animated trees, as she called them, with scoops for hands. I guess that was a weird detail to throw in if they weren't the ones digging the hole. And all of a sudden, he just, like, one of them just jumps up and, like, tackles one of the automatons. And, you know, everybody loves a good plant versus robot battle, so, yeah. And then, because she's just such an intelligent and wise character, she ran towards the battle, but then realized at the bottom of the hill that she had no idea which side to take. Yes, don't run towards a battle if you don't know what's going on. So then all of a sudden one of the trees attacks her, and she just like reacts and basically lights it on fire. But it's like going nuts. Like it's like burning, you know, tree limbs off and still like coming at her with like the little flaming stumps or whatever. And then some little human-sized automaton walks up and just says, "Take care, they will attack at any movement." Not moment, movement. So she just asked Mr. Robot Dude, "Hey, what the hell?" And he says there's animated trees there's created and sent by Multani. Good card, by the way. And she's just like, "Hey, Multani, that sounds like not Jaya," and just starts torching him. So once the battle's over, because she basically just ended it by just like spraying fire across the whole line of trees and just lighting them all on fire, and then the automatons just like smashed them to pieces. She finds the same automaton she was talking to before that's like way smaller than all the rest. And she's like, "You know, I don't think this is an automaton, though, because his head and face were more human-like than the others, and he was a lot more mobile and, you know, obviously smaller." And he just says, "Oh, thanks for the help." Okay, I think we all know who this is at this point. The Tin Man from Wizard of Oz, of course. So she still doesn't know who this robot army is, who sent them, what side they're on, none of that. And then she asks the dude, "Hey, so you said somebody named Multani sent them after you?" And then she just thinks to herself, "Oh, crap. I hope this Multani person isn't the friend that Jaya had come here to meet." Which, didn't Jaya say she was going to go fight the kobold army? I don't remember why the I forgot his name, general guy, said that Jaya came to help them and then bailed to the Avamaya coast. I think he just basically said it. He's just like, "Oh, she went there." The end. So Metal Dude just says, "Oh, Multani is an elemental and has been in a semi-conscious state recovering from terrible injuries. Animating these trees and sending them to attack us is an instinctive defensive action." And Jaya's like, "Oh, okay, so it was an accident anyway, so if they find out I torched them, whatever." So she asks him, "Hey, have you seen Jaya Bellard? I heard the steward of Argive tell me that she'd be somewhere in this neighborhood, I guess." And then realizing, you know, Jaya's pretty old or whatever, and she probably spent a lot of time on another plane, she tells Mr. Robo Dude, "Oh, you don't know who that is, do you? After all, she's been gone for a long time." And he actually answers, "I'm Karn." Dun, dun, dun. This is my surprise face. I'm making a Karn face. And then he says, "And I am someone who has been gone for a long time." And so Chandra's like, "Okay, is Jaya here?" Well, then when she's like halfway done asking the question, she hears a voice behind her say, "Well, fancy meeting you here, Shug." Well, golly, just kidding. I have no idea what Jaya sounds like. Actually, this is interesting. Chandra spun around. Mother Ludi stood there. Yeah, Ludi. That Ludi. From the abbot. The abbot's from the... I'm mixing up all these terms. The monastery. I just really like the card Abbot of Carol Keep, okay? Anyway, she was wearing leather and metal jerkin, whatever that is, over her red robes. And Shadow's just like, "What the hell's she doing on Dominaria? What? Mother Ludi can't planeswalk." And the Mother Ludi gets super pissed off and triggered, and she goes, "Chandra, oh my god, did you just assume my planeswalker status? That is so offensive. That is a microaggression. In fact, that's a mid-sized aggression. It's the crossover SUV of aggressions." And then suddenly Mother Ludi lifted a brow and pointed to Jaya's goggles hanging from Chandra's belt. She said, "I believe those are mine." Dun dun dun! Mother Ludi was actually Jaya the whole time. And remember, when she studied at the monastery for like, I don't know, a year or whatever, she said it was a really short amount of time. I guess she didn't finish her flaming degree or whatever. The whole time Mother Ludi was secretly Jaya. Oh, and that's actually the end of the chapter. Holy crap. Instead of a cliffhanger ending, it's like a bombshell ending. I actually appreciate those a lot more. So I can't wait to see what's in chapter 9, except I literally can and I'm going to because it's actually already posted and I'm not going to go read it. So if you don't want to miss that in the future, hit the subscribe button because that's the best way to keep track of all of my videos when I upload them. Although YouTube has been kind of suppressing subs, they'll hide my videos from your sub box, and then it won't show up on like your homepage if you're not looking at the sub box. And then even if you have notifications on, it might not show you the notification. So I have an idea, okay? You guys all stand under the balcony at my apartment, and when I'm done with the video, I'll just like burn it to a DVD and then like throw it down to you guys. That's really the only way on YouTube right now that you can absolutely make sure that somebody gets your video when you upload it. But you can at least hit the subscribe button and try. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Dominaria Z.